Okay, so now we've got our next speaker. So Shana, are you there, Shana? So Shana Donaji has been a teacher and teacher trainer for many years with a special interest in teaching young learners, training teachers, and supporting well-being in education. Today, she will help us gently reflect on what we want to keep, recycle, or let go of. I have a lot to let go of. But before we begin, Shanna, remember five senses? We've done
Yeah. Hmm.
taste. So for Shanna, our next sense is touch. So my question is, do you have an object that reminds you of summer?
Right. I'm going to cheat here. And I've got an object full of Zeynep helped me with this, but instead of filling it with ice cream, I've got a bowl full of strawberries, right? So it is a bowl and it's a special bowl, but I'm cheating a little bit because what's inside is tasty as well. But I think a big bowl full of bright, fruit or vegetables or whatever always reminds me of summer. Yeah.
So yeah, so ice cream and strawberries.
Yeah.
Everyone, are you making a list of this? All right.
I know that was cheating a little bit,
No,
but
no, it's giving me ideas for what to do after our event. So thank you, Shanna. And now over to you with every teacher deserves a good declutter.
oh, all right. And we'll start straight away with me not being able to find my slides, which were prepared,
You
but
haven't found
yeah,
them
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
Not yet.
Yes, exactly. Not yet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here we go. Let's see if it works now. I think we
Yay.
are a go. Yes. Okay, great. All right. So thank you very much, Anna, and thank you, Zainab, for that wonderfully inspiring session. And I just loved your curiosity menu at the end. So I'll be doing lots of ticking. Definitely lots of not yets for me as well. So thank you for that. All right, so we're going to sort of start off thinking straight away, sort of before we get to clutter, which can be associated with sort of negative things, sort of start with something positive and taking inspiration from Michael Rosen. I'll sort of tell you about that in a little while, but a good day. All right. So when you think of a good day, the sun is shining now. So a good day could be a day where you're here, could be just a day where you woke up, a day of strawberries. So if you feel like sharing some ideas in the chat, which I can see it. Yes. Any good days? Oh, on the farm. Yes, I like that. Yes, bad news. We can do without those. Okay, lots of wonderful things. Yes. Right. What about a good year? So the conference is helping us to sort of reflect on the year. So what would a good year be for you? So hopefully yours was a positive year. Oh, yes, learning, achieving goals. Oh, health. I like that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so in okay, I can see that I'm in the right place here because lots everyone's being very positive, which is what we want. So I've taken inspiration in this session from different sources, which I'll tell you about in a little while. But one of them is the wonderful Quentin Blake and his book Simkin. And I thought this image showed. So hopefully all of us have had sort of a good year with lots of highs. And with the summer coming up, also we'll be looking to even more positive things. So looking at the description of the conference, it sort of made me think a little bit about, in order to come up with, what I was going to be talking about. I was thinking, okay, so what is it that holds me back? And what holds me back from shifting perspective? And I came to that idea of decluttering because I don't know about you, but I tend to hold on to a lot of clutter. And we'll talk about, different forms of clutter in a while. But it has been a good year generally. I've also joined the mindfulness SIG, which was for me something that was new and something a good challenge. And so I was sort of thinking, okay, what are all the things that sort of prevent us from sort of moving forward? And that was what prompted me to come up with the topic of this session. And as I said, I've taken sort of inspiration not from sort of deep rooted theory or anything, but just sort of, things that inspire me generally. So books I've read, poetry that I've come across recently, things that I do with my children, with my family, with my friends, sessions I've attended, etc. So what we'll be talking about in the session will be very sort of practical and based on those kinds of things. So when I think about decluttering, I was the title of the session came from this, inspired by this postcard I have on my desk, which I just picked up in a shop. And like you, I'm sure you have your preferred methods of decluttering. I don't know. Most of us are probably familiar with the three baskets idea. So when you sort of sorting out your laundry, for example, you're putting things away, and it's like, oh, okay, I think that this is good to wear again, goes in one basket. Oh gosh, no, this has got a hole in it, so I'll put in another basket to fix, and then you might or might not get back to that. And then, oh gosh, this looked awful on me or doesn't fit anymore. So it goes in the third basket to recycle. So that's one method which I sort of preach. I don't know if I do it very often. And then, of course, there is Marie Kondo, who I think was debunked at some point. I don't know if we have any Marie Kondo fans here, but she sort of told us about sort of the ways of tidying up, and also looking at things, and does it sort of spark joy, I think was what she said, and if not, get rid of it anyway. But I never did that. But when I thought of decluttering, she immediately came to mind. So does anyone have a method, a preferred method? If you have, you can sort of put it in the chat box. I saw somebody put methods. What methods? I know I have lots of good intentions, but doesn't always. All right. So, oh, not a sex. Yes. Yeah. Lots of inspiration, improvisation. Yes, Sonia, definitely. All right, so we're here to sort of reflect a little bit on the academic year, and I did sort of promise that I'd be talking about what decluttering teachers need to do. So we'll sort of move on to talk about that. And again, sort of thinking about using Simkin as my inspiration here. I think I don't know when you've got to this point of the academic year. I think most of us are about to sort of start the summer break. I don't know if anyone here is on a different academic year, but you may be starting a new term, so I think it would work for you as well. So, what does your sort of mind or your desk or your classroom look like right now? So are you a sort of an up person? So there's a lot going on, but there's some sort of, organized chaos, or are you a down sort of person where you sort of like there's just so much that you've sort of, you know, it's gone everywhere and you don't know what to do with it anymore. So, I mean, feel free to sort of put an up or a down if we could take a sort of informal poll here. Oh, oh, gosh. Lots of ups. Oh, okay. Yeah. Up and down. I tend to sort of fall in the middle. I sort of want to be an up, but sometimes it gets a bit downy. All right. It seems from the answers that we're more ups here. Okay. All right. So I'm hoping to learn from you then. Right. So I don't know if anyone is like me. So I tend to sort of collect and collect and collect things during the academic year. And by collect, I mean not only physical things, but sort of ideas also that I take from conferences, from other teachers, from colleagues, from students. And then you get to a point, particularly at the end of the year, that you sort of think, okay, so what am I going to do with all of this? So, just to give you an example, I worked for 10 years at a school, and it was a long time ago. And at that time, it wasn't all digital. So, for the younger people, we had everything in files and papers. And so you can imagine at the end of 10 years, the amount of files and sort of boxes and things I accumulated. And when I needed to leave, I just think, okay, so what am I going to do with all of this? And I actually ended up throwing most of it away. And, occasionally I might think, oh yeah, I remember I had some really good ideas for that or good flashcards for that. But a lot of it just I threw away and I forgot about it. And so I don't know about you. Do you have what do you do with all of your stuff? Yeah. Do you have a way of organizing it? Well, that's what we're going to be sort of hopefully talking about in the next few minutes. Yeah. So I like I'm sure most of you have good intentions. I accumulate all the things and I sort of think, okay, so I'm going to tidy all of this up. So I came across the term recently of accidentally stockpiling. So you don't have the intention of sort of keeping it all, but you just keep thinking, okay, yeah, I will do something with that. I will, but you just never get to it. And I don't know if anyone is like me, but I am a real procrastinator. And so by procrastinating, it sort of leads to clutter. And I've taken this image here from the wonderful João Vaz Carvalho, who some of you may be familiar with, the Portuguese artist. And I just thought this is very much like me. It's not necessarily a physical thing, but in my head, I have these sort of piles and piles of things. And again, taking inspiration from Michael Rosen, I'll sort of share the book title later, but in his book, Good Days, he talks about doing things little by little. So sort of imagining that you're sort of on a ladder and you're sort of going up rung by rung. And I thought that was quite a good way of thinking of processing some of the clutter. And that's what we want to do, don't we? We get to the end of the academic year and we want to sort of move ahead to the new year with the clear head. And clutter isn't necessarily for everyone. I mean, some people might thrive in clutter. Other people might think, oh, no, no, I really can't function. Again, we've got our lovely Simkin here as inspiration. And when we talk about clutter, it could be sort of what's in your mind. It can be physical things. So when I look around my desk right now, you wouldn't want to see it. There's lots of things going on here. But there's also digital clutter. And I mean, nowadays we sort of collect everything on our computers, don't we, or on our phones? And then, what is it that we do with that? So Do you struggle with clutter? Again, you don't need to share this. Just sort of think, is this something that you find a challenge? And as teachers, what is it that you sort of put off doing the most? So, when I'll give you an example. In my line of work, I do a lot of marking. I do a lot of sort of online training, and so it used to be much easier to mark on a physical piece of paper. But online, I don't know why, I just really dislike doing it. So I put it off and I put it off and I put it off. And then suddenly the deadline is there and I have to do it. And then I just hate doing it because there's just so much clutter, in this case, marking. So what sort of things as a teacher do you put off doing the most? Maybe we can share some ideas in the chat. Yes, definitely paperwork. All right, yeah. Yeah, Zainab, I'm like you. I don't delete too, but then I don't know what to do with it. Yeah, reports, paperwork. All right. So as I said, one of the things that's helped inspire me in this session was some poetry that I've read recently. I don't know if you've come across David Labrie. He has a podcast. He has a Instagram page, and he wrote this book. I think it was came out last year, which is called Frequently Happy. His things are all about mindfulness, and this is a lovely poetry book with some nice sort of thoughts. And this poem, we're just going to do what Zainab recommended earlier. Just take a little pause and read the poem, just to enjoy. But at the same time, just think in your head, are there any benefits to clutter? So I'll just give you a minute to read. I like the idea that we don't need to apologize for all the clutter because that's me. Okay, so you some of you mentioned digital clutter, and Zainab, we were saying about not deleting things. So my this is just a few random things off my computer, but in preparing for this, I looked and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got 10 different versions of the same thing, which so I keep thinking, okay, I'm going to tweak it. And then I think, all right, I'll delete the other one. I thought, no, 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 because I might want to go back to that one, right? And then, every time I do a new CELTA course, I reinvent the wheel, and I then go back and why don't I just sort it out? Why do I have? And so this goes back to what I was talking about earlier about that accidental stockpiling. So if you think about digital things, what kind of things do you stockpile digitally? Do I know how to say that word? So, I mean, in the olden days, we used to have our flashcards, our files of lesson plans, etc. Is it the same online? Oh, yes, photos, definitely. Yeah, yeah. All right. Yes, when we go to conferences, we take photos and photos and photos. Right. Well, I'm hoping you have, PowerPoints. Yes. Okay, so we're going to look at some strategies. None of them are sort of revolutionary, and as I say, they're not based on any sort of deep theoretical thing. It's just ideas, and I'm sure all of them are things that you've done before. But hopefully they'll help remind you of some ways of decluttering, so that your mind and your physical space doesn't look like Simpkins' room. So in order to tidy or declutter, we have to make a mess. So if I look at I've got this bookshelf that I need to sort out. Some of you might be really organized and be able to sort of reorganize the bookshelf, just taking book by book. But my method would be to put it all down on the floor and start from scratch, right? And so in order to sort of organize or declutter, we need to make a mess. So if I were to sort of uh, declutter my mind right now. So I did this exercise the other day of just writing down all the things that were in my mind at this one time. And I came up with this sort of word cloud. Um, of course, this is an exercise you could do yourselves, which is so these are all the things that are going on in your mind at the moment. So imagine that bookshelf. You've taken all the books and you've put them down on the floor. And one way of sort of decluttering or organizing or tidying is to use some sort of visual prompt to help you sort of make sense of that. And so one possible thing is to have some form of lists. And so I did this sort of exercise. So looking at all the things that were going on in my mind, what are the things that I have here that I have to do? I have no choice, right? So just taking some of that mess and putting it on that list helps me think, okay, this is one way of decluttering. It's also easy to think of the third thing. Okay, so from here, okay, I'll prepare my mindful, my session for the Here Comes the Sun session. That'll be fun, right? So I'll put that in the third column. But it's the middle one. It's those things that are necessary, but they don't move you forward in any way, either because you don't absolutely have to do it, or because it doesn't bring you any joy or doesn't. And those are the things that add to the clutter. So using some form of listing can help you declutter. Yeah, laundry does come up a lot. Yeah, yeah. All right, so moving on to we're going to sort of go back to those three baskets ideas, sorry. But before that, just another little poem to give us another pause. Right, so I think as teachers, we can easily think of things that we want to sort of let go of. So, Zeynep, in your session, you were talking about sort of that negative energy, those negative things that happened in the year that we can let go of. Enjoying just the moment of being here, of sharing ideas, of being in the classroom, of connecting with our students, and also we like to sort of think about things that we can trust, that will stay the same, and that will give us some. Now we're finishing the academic year. We want to sort of, for some teachers, there's uncertainty about the new year, about which school they're going to be at, if they're starting somewhere new, etc. And that. There are certain things that in order to sort of be mindful and sort of feel comfortable and safe, we need to trust that some things will stay the same. So, oops, going in the wrong direction. Sorry about that. So going back to that idea of the three baskets, and we can sort of think, okay, in our teaching, what are some of the things that we want to keep? Right. So maybe in the chat box, can you just write down, one thing that you want to keep from this year that's just finishing? Could be your, oh, good. Yeah, yeah. Students. I was just about to say, it could be your relationship with your students, with your colleagues, or messages. Nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, in my clutter, I think I have lots of little things, cards I got from students. Yeah, I won't be throwing those away. Yeah, yeah. All right, and then we can also think about things that we accumulated over the year that we can sort of recycle or reuse. So taking ideas from conferences you've been to, or lessons that went particularly well, or all those multiple slides that you've accumulated from conferences and things, taking some of those ideas and trying to sort of recycle them or reuse them for next year. So trying to make some sense of the clutter. And then, of course, we've got the get rid of, right? And hopefully you don't have too many negative things from this year. And you could, if you wanted to, just if you have a piece of paper, you could write it there and scrunch it up and and throw it away right into the box. So hopefully, but there won't be too many of those of negative things there. But again, a way of maybe sort of just reflecting on your year and trying to sort of come up with these three things. All right, so we've got Simkin here again, right? And if you remember with Michael Rosen, I mentioned earlier that thing of going sort of little by little, going up the ladder, one rung at a time. And so another idea I came across recently was this thing of where you choose a period of time. So it could be a week, a month, 10 days or whatever. And so on day one, you throw away one thing. On day two, you throw away two things. On day three, you throw away three things, etc. So trying to bring that to us and our teaching. So I could say, okay, look, those files, those multiple files, today I'm going to look through that one folder and I'm going to delete one of those. And that's easy to do. And then tomorrow, I'm going to sort of, take two of the things that I got from, the recent Happy conference, and I'm actually going to sort out those files, right? And then the next day, I'm going to choose three ideas to keep and organize them in a box or a box on the computer or whatever, and so on. So doing it like this, sort of one step at a time, is sometimes easier to do. And we come to going again back to where we started, thinking about good days and trying to be positive. And even though we've got rid of all those negative things in that box, the get rid of box, so we can forget about this. One way to sort of declutter your mind is to fill it with sort of positivity. So somebody said this to me the other day when I was sort of talking about my session, and I thought, okay, that's going on a slide. So I like the idea of cluttering your mind, your life with positivity rather than negativity. And so another idea of helping to declutter is to sort of have a notebook, or if you don't use physical notebooks, on the computer or whatever, and just a little bit of reflection time. So again, I keep coming back to Zeynep's pausing, but maybe sort of at the end of a lesson, at the end of a day, at the end of the week, just sort of sitting down and thinking, okay, so what went well this week or in this lesson, and making a note of it, and just physically sort of writing it down helps you then to come back to it when you're reflecting on, or you've had a particularly bad day or something. You can go back and just think, okay, so what were those things that really went well last week, right? And can I do more of that? So can I sort of take that forward to next week, next month, and so on? Okay. Sometimes we've talked about having boxes and, lots of different things, but sometimes you want to sort of scale this back to the smallest possible thing because even thinking about sorting out boxes might be too overwhelming, right? Could be going back to that sort of stockpile of, oh my gosh, do I really have to do all of that? Yeah, journaling is a lovely way, I think, of reflecting. You're right, Raquel. So sometimes just scaling it back and thinking about really small things. So just think of four or two or one even, just really small things that you could do to declutter. So if I look at my desk right here, I could think, okay, what could I do? Well, I could actually just put things in piles, right? A very small, simple thing. Or I could take a break, right? There's that. As I said earlier, that I am a terrible procrastination. I keep saying the wrong thing. Procrastinator. So using the Pomodoro method or whatever works for you, or just sort out that bookshelf. Stop talking about it, right? So one thing, just think of one small thing that you could do to help. So maybe in the chat box you could just write one thing that you could do right now or in the break that might help to declutter. Let's see if we can get some inspiration from each other. Sorry, I'm just checking the time. Yes, that throwing away. Yeah, yeah. Oh, flowers. Flowers is always a good way to declutter. Yeah, absolutely. Declutter your mind. Cup of coffee. All right. Alarms. Oh, walking the dog. Yes. Lovely way to declutter. Yes. Yes. Do you like I do the same as you, Paolo, just keeping that thing that's got a little chip. I'll fix it one day. And then you never do, right? Okay, so I think we probably, because we're all here too, I think we'll probably agree that the best thing to do is to declutter our mind in some sort of mindful way. And so here are a couple of examples of things that I do to declutter. So coming back to my bowl, right? So I love to eat. And having a sort of a pretty bowl. This is a bowl that I bought on a recent trip, and it had a sort of special meaning. My daughter got the same one in a different color. She lives so far away, so I know that if I'm eating from that bowl, she might be having her breakfast in her bowl as well. And it does help, obviously, to have pretty things around you. And for me, going down to see the sea every day, walking by the water, that helps to declutter my mind. So thinking of sort of positive things, I'm going to ask you to write in the chat box, but this time not to press send until I say press send, right? And just think of what works for you, what helps to declutter your mind, right? So in the chat box, as I said, don't press send. Just you can write a list of things, a sentence, a couple of sentences. I'm just going to give you a minute. All right, our time will just sit quietly and write in the chat box for a minute. What works for you? Okay, if you haven't already put it in the chat box, can you press send and have a look through and see if people have similar things to you or lots of going to the beach? Walking, yes, definitely walking. Ooh, tangram. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. All right, so we've sort of looked at a few sort of strategies, if you like. And I think in order to declutter, we sort of need to make space for new things. So we're all here and we're all sort of going to taking ideas from sessions from each other. And so hopefully sort of a little bit of decluttering will make space for these new ideas that we can take forward with us to the new year, and to the summer, and sort of reflecting on what we've learned over the new year. Again, I apologize for the quality here. I tried to get a better version, but I couldn't. But Rosie made a thing, always makes me smile. So a couple of things just to uh, help us think about making space for new things. I don't know if you're more of a left person or a right person. Hopefully, there won't be many of you quitting your job, but at least you can focus on the summer. Yeah. All right. Those, as I said, were the inspiration, where the inspiration came from. Michael Rosen, Simkin, really old book, but again, always makes me smile. And the sort of, I think we'll be sharing these, right? Will we? If not, you can take a photo. All right, and that's it. So thank you so much. And hopefully there'll be a little bit of less clutter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shanna. That was so useful. I just keep adding to my list. So ice cream, strawberries. Now you made me look at my bookcase, meaning probably eating strawberries and decluttering here. I quite like that idea of cluttering your mind with positivity and
Mm.
kind of like the
Yes.
end of the day, reflecting not on the negative side, but reminding ourselves of all the good things. And sometimes they're so tiny, we're just so focused on the negative that we miss out on the beauty,
Yeah.
just that lovely walk to work or so yeah, I like that. I love that idea of cluttering your mind with positivity. But also decluttering sounds like, oh my God, so much work. But that
Yeah, you said
idea
it
of
could be
making
something simple sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but making space for new. How exciting is that? Isn't
Mm.
new so exciting? So having that kind of mindset, yeah. I'm not going to look at my my bookcase.
No, don't. That's for another day. Not
Oh,
yet,
thank
not yet.
not yet. But yeah, ice cream, strawberries, and another day we'll do the bookcase. Thank you so much for that amazing session and for all the inspiration and so useful at this time of year. Okay.